JYP and Byul. We are on Overgrowth for our first game, and I am casting with Todd. And of course, I am ZombieGrub. In the bottom left, as the blue Protoss, it is JYP.
And his opponent starting in the top right-hand position. It is the only guy who's not played with the barcode, actually, with Bomber, is Byul. So the winner of this match moves on to the next round, and the loser will have to face Bomber to try and qualify. So I think definitely a good idea to try and win now, rather than take on Bomber.
Well, you know, I think Byul will be doing JYP a favor if he lets him win. If he lets JYP win, because Byul does mansled Bomber. These are actually the two guys that had not shown any weakness. Like each series that they played, they looked actually very convincing. Whereas, you know, Bomber was kind of like, I don't know what he was doing against Byul, and of course Oz, we don't know what he was doing against Bomber. But these guys looked very, very strong. So I'm only hoping, because, you know, that PvP was so great. I want that for us, man. Me and you.
We need to share that moment together, that moment of joy, where these players actually play up to their true skill.
Yeah.
Not doing a roddy build that fails and then leave immediately.
And then the I don't understand the Nexus. Yeah, Kappa, exactly. Well, Byul, scouts, actually drone scouts. This is interesting. You don't usually see a drone scout in PvZ.
I guess against somebody like JYP, who's very good at pretty much everything, including going for a forge and cannon rushing, you're gonna want to play it safe. And yeah, it makes sense. Also, Byul, I really feel like he's the type of player to, if he goes for a drone scout, really make the most of it, like read the situation well and all that. So he went for a pull first. You think he takes the gold? I think there's a good chance he's gonna take the gold.
I mean, of course, we've seen enough Cats game to see golds at the other person's base, but don't see very often at your own. But the thing is that I think we've cast one or two where, you know, both times just literally wasn't scouted. They saw some of the creep, but not enough to really appear on the minimap, and they never saw it. But JYP, he's a coming. He's gonna see it. Oh.
Yeah, he's too smart to not see this as soon as he did. I don't think he can cannon rush here ever, especially since Byul is being super careful about it, and there is already links out. So we're gonna see a cannon starting, and then from there a regular game, except for obviously that gold being like basically very close to the natural of JYP. So JYP, does he go for like a 2-base? Does he go for a 3-base and some kind of a push? I think both options would be quite viable. Actually, he's delayed a lot his gases. Why didn't he take his gases for this long?
I don't know. We're gonna crank out a lot of...
Like quick third Nexus with like a Zealot and then cannon?
Could have been an option. He does throw him down now. They're a little late. By the way, I can only imagine that drone scout was because Byul had planned all along to go ahead and take this base. So that's pretty cool to see. You know, coming into a best of 3 with prepared plans for every game is something that, you know, really marks a good player, especially in tournaments.
Oh, look at these drones. Harvesting from the gold base. They're like investment bankers. Like they just get there. You make so much money instantly.
And the queen is like the fat cat banker in charge. Get back to work. Anyways.
I think he's gonna get the pro maybe. So with the other base behind is the natural for Byul, which was spotted. JYP exactly knows where he's at. He's probably not very happy about not being able to stop that gold base, but it was just obviously props to Byul for doing such a clutch build. And yeah, I think he countered very well the quick forge from his opponent. By the way, Warpgate didn't start. I'm getting a little bit worried. First blood is gonna...
That's 150 gas. You should go down. Okay, Stargate.
Okay. I guess this is a bit like what we saw from Trap at MLG, where you get the quick Stargate, but in this case, he wanted to make a Stalker before, and then you couldn't boost out a first Oracle, so that you can start going and sniping drones, especially against the Zerg that goes for double hatchery at expansions like this, because obviously he's not going to have a quick lair. It's going to be very hard for him to make spores, because he obviously wants to be spending money on new drones and stuff, so it's a good opener all in all together.
Yeah, I've seen Hero do this as well a couple of times, but we do have some aggression on that gold base, and, you know, I believe he scouted with his pro, but there wasn't any gas. So he knows they can get away with this because the speed won't be finished for the Lings. The Stalker, at the very least, will survive. And of course, hopefully he can take that Queen down to a very small amount of health and then swoop in with his Oracle. Now, it has been scouted by this Overlord. I mean, it's right on top of it. We still don't see any spores. That's really what it needs at the gold base, because one of the worst things with taking this base is that, other queens are going to come to help. There's no taking your queen from the main and natural to come over here and help. So he definitely needs that Spore Crawler.
The spores are going to be on time in every single base. I love that Byul has already got started with the quick spread. I wonder actually, does he go into something like Swarmhost, in which case he already has the gold as like a very strong position in the middle of the map to start and pressuring with? It would be a pretty sick build if he did that.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, actually. Like you said, it just is like a good starting off point. And of course, if you really want to get to the late game, you could put in those spines and spores, really early on with all this creep spread. But then I'm worried that, if JYP were to go like Blink Stalkers, he would just run circles around the Swarm hosts. These faces are so disjointed that Byul has to be really careful about how his army is positioned and how mobile his army is, whatever he chooses to get.
Wow, those Lings really wanted that sentry. It's like one of those MOBA games where like there is a low hit points hero under a tower and like a bunch of heroes dive and like they all die trying to kill it.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a Ling Hydra composition, it looks like, coming out. And you know what? I like this. The creep spread is going to be very, very close to the base already with it coming from the third. It's going to be relatively fast. And of course, you can transition into stuff like a Spire from this, or even throw down a Roachborn and go into that fast hive with Roach Hydra. But it's going to be hard to take care of. And JYP is going for a Twilight Council, going to get a +2, probably open with Blink. But Colossus seem to be a ways out.
Yeah, JYP right now has no idea of what he's going to be facing, so he needs to put more effort into scouting. I'm guessing Hallucination is going to be a good option here in a second to send a Hallucinated Phoenix in the main, then Natural, and see exactly what he's up against. That that fourth base, actually. He needs to see that as soon as possible as well. 10 minutes warp gate here completing. That's very, very late, but I guess since he don't have that many gateways anyway, it's not going to matter all that much.
Whoa, okay, that revelation from the Oracle would have helped a lot in defending, going to the third to the natural is really hard to keep track of, but the Blink is thrown down. 7 gateways were just put down, and that is his production coming in kind of late. The Hydras are already here, and he's only on 2-3 gateways.
Oh, and use Time Warp instead of saving for Photon Overcharge. No, the sentries are fighting Lynx and Hydras. Yo!
JYP is just does he just win here? What's going on? I mean, he certainly does a lot of damage. He kills all the sentries potentially. If they even try and fight, they're all gonna die.
Everything's dying. Just don't see him holding. He's got a few stalkers here and there, but Blink's not finished. +2 was cancelled as the Forge was sniped. The cybernetic score is gonna go down now. Byul, his force is unstoppable at this point. He's even getting Hive behind this. He has a good drone count.
I am clearly the bad luck charm for one of these players in every single series. What are these games?
So the big one actually means the massive stomp, apparently, because it's all that's happening so far in the